Okay, folks. We're diving back into some Tim Pool. I promised you a resolution. We're doing it. We're doing it, baby. Here we go. You can't stop me now. Can't stop
Life
me.
with Google searches for
Cause we're having a dumb time. Having a dumb time.
Code, they would just push for these various policies that would degrade the character of Western civilization, and then people would give concessions to moderate liberals, which would then pass around.
I'm sorry. I thought we were picking up right where we left off. I thought we hit like the hour mark. But he's saying some of the most insane shit I've ever heard, so maybe we're here.
To not be liberal democracy.
Well, they shouldn't have the choice.
And we can't make other societies have our values.
No, I think we can convince them to have our values.
I want to get to this next story, which is actually relevant to the conversation. I want to say one last thing on this, in that I think there's a realignment that's going to happen. The progressives that lost in Illinois lost largely to AIPAC-backed candidates, which many people consider to be a shift.
John Bible, author of the Bible. I was going through a weird time when I wrote it. I found God and got clean after that.
Are you any relation to Stephen King? John Bible?
Plus, we're seeing the media purchases by pro-Israel, pro-Zionist individuals. I tweeted this earlier. I think that we're going to see a political realignment where one party becomes interventionist and one party becomes anti-interventionist. I'm not entirely sure if the Democrats...
Okay, so I'm seeing a future where one party is in favor of war and the other is against war. What a bold prediction in a two-party system, man. What a bold risk taker this guy sitting on the fence is.
Democrats will be the anti or pro-intervention.
At some point in the future, this thing that's already happening will have happened. Well, okay, there. Well done. Well thought out, sir.
Considering they're very critical of Trump right now, but it is shifting. And with AIPAC backing these candidates, Democrats may actually end up in the we should go into these countries. And then with Tucker, Candace, and Meghan being loud right-wing voices, the Republican may...
Oh yeah, Tim. All of the polling right now indicates that Democrats love the war in Iran. That's right. When you look at the polls certainly show that all the Democrats love war with Iran. Oh, wait. Nope, it shows the opposite. This is the least popular war of all time in the general public, let alone when it comes to Democrats who are overwhelmingly negative on what Donald Trump is doing. Okay.
May become staunchly anti-intervention, which shifts the dynamic from woke versus anti-woke into war and pro-war, which is exactly what we were seeing with Obama versus McCain after the Bush era, where Obama played the I'm against the war, and McCain was like, well, sometimes you need it. So, again, I think the point you're making about why we may have needed...
Yeah, sometimes people are in favor of war, and sometimes people aren't in favor of war. Well done, Tim.
May have, I'm not saying we should have, may have needed to stay in Afghanistan is a point made by many neoliberals, more moderate Democrats about nation building. But let's jump to this story real quick.
This is really important, that sometimes you need to do evil to create order in life. And sometimes you need to create chaos to produce good, because totalitarian systems that have too much. So this is an instance of going into Venezuela, of doing something predominantly evil to create order in the realm.
Okay, we're going to
you just have to always have that debate.
We're going to jump to the story. We got this from the New York Post. U.S. territory turned tropical maternity ward has produced thousands of American babies for parents living in China. Amazing. The Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands is a U.S. territory northeast of Guam in the Pacific Ocean. It's been flooded with so-called birth tourists since 2009, when then President Barack Obama introduced a visa waiver program for Chinese nationals. What a scumbag. I say...
Yeah, how dare people want to come to the United States? Like, the idea that, like, oh, people want to come here and have babies so that their children can grow up here or like, come here later in life, that doesn't seem like a bad thing to me. Like, this is only a bad thing if you're against, like, I don't know, non-white people coming into the country. yeah, how could Obama provide disgusting tourism to a poor island territory?
Strip them all of their citizenship.
Absolutely.
No more birthright citizenship, and
Absolutely.
they can't come back.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone. Kyla's gone. Okay, everyone agrees.
Yeah, probably, to be honest with you.
She's going to be like, no, China should be allowed to be president of the United States.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry if someone comes here from another country that like it. Okay, sorry, this is so stupid. If Tim's arguing that if he was born here in the United States, but then his parents moved to like Canada and like raised him in Canada for like 10 years and then he moved back to the United States, like that he shouldn't be able to be like a president because he didn't earn his citizenship. Like, Tim is basically making that argument, but saying like, oh, well, because those parents are from China and are coming to like give their kid the option to move to the United States easily, like that's bad. They should be stripped of their citizenship. We should absolutely trample upon our constitutional rights in an effort to rectify this heinous wrong. And it's just like, what are you doing? I think it's nice and good that people want to come here.
Just that civilizational.
But oh god, okay, I can't handle this guy. This guy's really dumb too, right? Like the argument that's made here, like, oh, well, you know, they're going to like come here, have a kid, then go back to China, and then have like some kind of Chinese super soldier politician who then moves back to the United States at the direction of forever President Xi. And then he winds up like winning the hearts and minds of the American people, and they elect him, and that's how China takes over the United States. Like, it's such a laughable, racist fantasy these people all have. Like, it's bizarre to me.
Suicide. I mean, the idea, the fact that there is evidence that there.
I'm sorry.
With you,
she's going to be like, no, China should be allowed to be president of the United States.
It's just that civilizational suicide. I mean,
it's civilizational suicide to allow people born in America to go to America. It's civilizational suicide if people want to come to the United States. What insane takes these people have.
The idea, the fact that there is evidence that there are thousands and thousands of people that are going.
I'm sorry. Wait, was Moonlord just doing like the eye thing?
The fact that there is evidence that there are thousands and thousands of people that are going there just to have children, particularly from China, right? China is absolutely an adversary. They're not a partner. They're not even right.
Yeah, they're an adversary. The kind of adversary that makes all of our shit. You know, that kind of an adversary. When you're walking down the street and you pass a bakery, oh, that baker's out to get you because when you look through the window, he's making all that shit for you to maybe buy. Just like an adversary would.
They're an adversary, and the idea that they should be allowed to be American citizens just because they're born there, then brought back to China to be raised as Chinese people.
This is why I can't stand liberals, man, because they're just like, they're going to stand around while these Chinese people doing birth tourism are literally saying in 20 years you will start seizing power and assets from the American people. And
by what mechanism? What are you talking about? You stupid racist asshole.
American liberals are like, they're going to be standing there as the Chinese guy goes like, I have every right to take your stuff because I am American, and they're going to go, guess you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
what the fuck are you talking about? In what world is this even a possibility on the table? Like, I'm sorry, right? In Tim Pool's world, so an American can just walk up to another American and be like, I'm taking your stuff because I'm an American, and that like flies? What are you talking about? You just walk up to like a a barbecue in a local park and just like take a hot dog, you're like, I'm an American, I deserve this. It's genuinely unhinged and insane. This argument that he's making is bad, even if it wasn't also racist.
They're going to be used as a vector of attack against the United States.
Is it just that people don't?
Dave, I was making a joke about like the super soldier politician that China will raise up, and then he just says it unironically. You can't even parody these people. They're too silly.
I'm asking you too, Rod. I mean, you study this stuff, that people just don't have that outside perspective of the system. They get...
I mean, that's how American imperialism works. I mean, but American imperialism is walking up to non-Americans and demanding their stuff. Within the imperial core, that's very illegal and you will get arrested.
They get in it, they get emotionally involved with like, yeah, we're accepting of people, but like, is it just that like dumb first order thinking?
So James Burnham has the best narrative about this. He wrote a book in 1961 called The Suicide of the West. And the thesis of the book was that liberals do not have a morally consistent code. They just support whatever degrades the West fast enough. And so in
The West is suiciding because liberalism craves death.
1961, he said that this would cause the suicide of Western civilization, because the liberals don't have a consistent code. They would just push for these various policies that would degrade the character of Western civilization, and then people would give concessions to moderate liberals, which would then pass to radical Marxists. And so he said radical Marxists would take over the institutions, which is what we've seen.
Yeah,
and these people, I agree with you, Tim, these people have this is why I brought up Rawls and the Enlightenment. These people have no concept that there are others who do not share their values who will use violence against them. And if someone was willing to use violence and will not share your values, you have to pair that with violence.
Interesting point there, you little Nazi freak.
Often notice people are very like laissez-faire about, about whatever, bringing new people in, changing the system. They're kind of open to it until it affects them directly. They get mugged. And then they're like Anna Kasparian, she's completely flipped after she got attacked by some dude outside her house.
I don't know that she's completely flipped, but she's definitely...
I do appreciate Moonlord just coming right out and saying that. No sugarcoating it. Just like, yeah, she's completely abandoned all of her values. Sometimes that does happen.
It affects you, and so to make sure that people don't have to face it and have that traumatic realignment, that you can maybe educate them ahead of time and get them to kind of see what mass migration can do, see how societies can be destroyed with mass migration as used as a weapon. But like, to get people to realize it without really experiencing it, I don't know how. I played a lot of Crusader Kings, and I would watch countries get flipped with cultural,
Oh man, he just said the meme. He just said the meme. I can't believe it. I can't fucking believe it. I've played a lot of Crusader Kings. Is such a statement to make in complete sincerity, man. Oh dear. Oh dear, 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 dear.
Culture just takes it, and then people vote for their own demise. I'm like, that's how I learned. But sorry, where's
you'd have to.
I played a lot of Stellaris, so I know a thing or two about consuming a galaxy.
Establish cultural traditions to because this is something a lot of tribal societies do, where they have rites of passage that force people to grow up through these various rituals that make them comprehend the horror of the world, because industrial civilization has protected us from the brutality of the human condition, and so people are just not aware of how bad things can get, and that's why we're having Mouse Utopia.
Oh God, if anyone wonders about Mouse Utopia, I can tell you it's bullshit. I have an entire video where I go over this guy's idea of Mouse Utopia as if it's like this incredibly revealing experiment. Go check out that video. Pretty sure it's somewhere on the channel, but like, god damn, this guy loves to talk about Mouse Utopia.
And so, like, horror movies and stuff, is that part of why people like them? Is because it helps them see into what it could be?
Yeah, people like.
No. Do you think that's why people like horror movies? Like, it allows them to kind of like see into another reality where like it's worse and you have to deal with like a serial killer in space? You think that's why people like it? Just like what do you mean, man? Like, people like horror movies because they're spooky scary. And sometimes people like being spooky scared. Like, often it's because people like being scared, and also it's a different kind of problem than what they're dealing with in their day-to-day life. You know, I have a lot of problems that I have to deal with on a daily basis, but you know what? I don't have to deal with a ghost living in my internet. That's pretty cool. And it's fun to take a break from being worried about like taxes or like making food and like time management, and instead to be worried and a little spooked out about a ghost in your internet. You sure about that? I know a thing or two about ghosts. I lived with the Dono ghost for a very long time. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and also consider dropping those subs and donos, folks.
Horror movies is like a reset button.
I don't want the ghost to eat my bones.
It's because people physiologically process reality, and so if someone physiologically does not understand something, they're going to have trouble understanding it in abstract intellectually.
And so,
is the Dono ghost gone? Not unless you guys start donoing. But also, if you don't understand it physiologically, you don't understand it mentally is such like a galaxy brain thing to say. Derogatory.
But like we don't this is so I think you guys are like true about something, right? Which is that like by and large people are a culmination of their experiences, and that's about it, right? What you're talking about, like Anna Kasparian, right? What you're talking about, like the morally lucky individual who just happens to grow up with the whatever morals you prefer and loves them because they grew up with them, right? But I also think that we can experience and observe things and think of things and develop a sense of self outside of these experiences. It just takes significant work, right? In the case of learning math, it's really hard to experience high levels of math, Euclidean geometry. However, if you engage in it at high levels over and over as like a rigorous mental...
Wait, what the fuck is NotSoErudite doing here? She's like the stand-in for the sane liberal on this particular episode. I guess Tim has just been adding more and more people to the roster of the show, wondering when people will notice.
It's nice to disconnect from the news, thank you. Have a trip planned for Zurich in 2 weeks. And Cologne next week.
That sounds dope. Let us know how it goes. Also, I agree. The news is a trash fire right now.
Practice in the way that you could do with philosophy, right? You can actually come to observe and understand these things and have it kind of phenomenologically affect how you engage with the world or think.
Well, yeah, Bizu, she's pulling a Sam Raish.
Let's go back to the original question, which is, there's an island where Chinese people are flying, giving birth, and then leaving, so that those babies will have standing to be president and be American citizens. Should we put a stop to that?
I love the idea that Tim is like trying to scaremonger about one child among hundreds of millions potentially growing up to be able to be president of the United States while secretly being a double agent for China. Like, it's actually insane. It's actually an insane thing to even imply. The fact that he's doing it with a straight face is kind of incredible.
Yeah, probably.
Should we end birthright citizenship?
Of course, a very logical leap to make here, man. Oh boy.
I think it's complicated because it's a very American tradition, right? There's a really good debate between two of my friends. I don't know if I can shout out other creators. I think you've had both of them on now. Pisco and Ryan Mullally, when they were at Word War Debate, talked about this, and I think both of them had really good arguments. Ryan saying birthright means an implied patriotism because obviously the founding fathers didn't know about like planes, right? So if you were born here, you're probably invested because you're not going to leave very easily, right? And Pisco kind of addressed that, well, birthright citizenship is about the individual. It's not about their parents, and that matters. So I think there's really good arguments on either side.
No. It's silly that someone from China can fly here specifically to give birth and then like fly here a week before birth, give birth, and then fly back a week later.
I agree, but there might be a way to...
Why? Why is she entertaining this? I mean, that is the main thing that I feel like she kind of fucks up in this, which is just rolling with it. And I don't know if she's rolling with it to like try and like maintain like a positive vibe to the conversation or what, but like not like Tim's being silly as hell.
To like policy carve out in such a way that people can't abuse it like that, but we still protect the birthright citizenship. Yes, some way to do that work, because I think the Pisco points out really aptly, I forget which amendment it is, and I'm going to butcher his arguments. So I'm very sorry, Pisco. I think the 14th, yeah. But the jurisdiction of the state it's talking about is the child. It's not the parents, and a child is not responsible for their parents' sins, their parents' heritage, any of these sort of things. Especially
that's not what jurisdiction thereof was like. If you look at the debates,
no,
on the 14th
but in the
Amendment,
American law idea, the idea is that you can come here and be born here, and that makes you American. And yes, there are people abusing it, but the question might be, is there a way to prevent the abuse while maintaining the principle of what this is?
The 14th Amendment, the 14th Amendment was specifically for post-Civil War, addressing the issue of slaves, and the point of
no, not necessarily. Every single interpretation of it since then has included people born on American soil. Like, you can't just like go back in time and rewrite all that precedent, Tim.
If you were born here, you were a slave was past tense, not future. The idea was all of the slaves who were born here are citizens. That's what they were saying. Mm-hmm. There was a debate on this in which the guy said, well, no one's going to construe this to mean that foreigners, diplomats, or their children would have
just fly here and
And that was back when we didn't have planes and people were like traveling 3 months. So it was actually debated, and then it was Wong Kim, what was it? Wong v. Kim Ark or whatever.
I don't know.
I can't remember the name of the court precedent, where they were like, no, anybody born here at this point forward will be a citizen. Despite that not being the intention of the 14th Amendment.
There was never a moral argument behind it. It was just practicality. Only really nations in the New World do
Long
birthright.
Kim Ark, the United States.
Yeah. Birthright citizenship is just nations in the New World with a handful of exceptions, because these were countries.
Oh, just nations in the New World. You mean like half the planet? Oh, yeah, just Wong Kim Ark. You know, that court case from 1898.
With high demographic turnover. If you went to the Founding Fathers and made that moral argument, they just wouldn't have a concept for that.
Sure, but the principle that's emerging is the same.
What's the principle? What's the moral principle?
That the principle here would be that you are not held and bound by like the actions or identity of what your parents were.
Why is that good?
I think that's good because, for example, being held accountable for the sins or like history of your parents is something that was often done in older world orders that I think was harmful. I don't think that I should be culpable for the behaviors, the actions, the viewpoints, or the identity of my parents.
I completely agree. Like, if someone illegally enters my home and then gives birth, that kid doesn't just live in my house now. I am not.
That's not at all equivalent at all. What? I'm sorry.
Like,
for the behaviors, the actions, the viewpoints, or the identity of my parents.
I completely agree. Like, if someone illegally enters my home and then gives birth, that kid doesn't just live in my house now.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's a weird argument to make, right? Like, for obvious reasons, your house is different than a country, a nation state. Those are two different things that are not analogous. If someone breaks into my house and has a baby, yeah, that's what people who are breaking into houses are doing these days. All those pregnant breaking and enterings. Or like water break and enter, am I right? Hey.
I am not responsible for the crime they committed.
What if it's a really cute baby?
No, baby's gotta go.
But reality also exists.
I'll call an ambulance
we
for him.
fundamentally exist in a world of distinct countries that have their own histories, and the reality is not
fundamentally live in a reality. Sorry, I that was, my brain is dying.
Fundamentally exist in a world of distinct countries that have their own histories, and
We fundamentally exist in a world of distinct countries that have their own histories. We do live in a world.
the reality is not that we are fundamentally born, because the baby boomers are going to pass on a crap ton of debt to my generation, Gen Z. By this logic,
yeah.
And you can say, of course, it'd be nice if we got rid of the debt. I am going to be stuck with this debt. I am going to be.
What? Are you talking about the national debt? Oh, God.
Something, something, something. They are just imaginary lines.
Anime Sidekick Gal, thank you for the $20 dono. Very much appreciated. The national debt is a debt that our nation has. That's not your parents passing that on to you. Insofar as, I guess, like, you know, the actions of our forefathers affect us all, you know, like our kids are going to be dealing with climate change. But these are debts of a different nature than what he's talking about. Like when we're talking about, you know, inheriting the debt of your parents, that's a very different thing than inheriting, you know, the climate crisis or, you know, a national debt that was ballooned by past spending. You know, like these are different things.
Forced the generational inheritance the baby boomers gave me, and I cannot do anything about this. This is the fundamental reality of the human condition.
Yeah, the fundamental reality of the human condition is that we don't get to choose when we're born, so or what conditions we exist under, because it's a crapshoot. Kind of makes you think of that hypothetical you didn't want to answer earlier in the show, doesn't it?
And I believe in creating politics around fundamental realities, not around.
Well, this is going to come as a huge blow to the the unfundamental realityists, but I guess they'll have to cope.
Around abstract principles and then enforcing them on reality, whether or not they make sense.
So if your parent's a thief, should everyone look at you skeptically for the next 15 to 40 years of your life because your parent was a thief? It might be in your genes.
This was something that the
Not so erudite. I understand why you might make this argument to him, but I guarantee you this is the last person on earth that you should make that argument to, because he genuinely does believe stuff like that runs in your genes. Like, he unironically believes that. He believes it for things like the concept of justice and truth. He also believes it in terms of, like, criminality and evil. So, yeah, he's a eugenicist, but he's like a super eugenicist. Like, he believes in, like, a spiritual kind of eugenics. Yeah, he thinks, like, economic class is biological.
Western tradition had established. We had already thought this through, where Christianity and the Greco-Roman tradition said that the individual should be judged for their actions, but this was something that was thought through at the time. It wasn't just... It wasn't a post-ad hoc rationalization for a legal structure, where we established this
God, he's really stupid.
Legal structure because it was convenient at the time. It was not a moral principle.
All legal structures grow out of utility. All legal structures grow out of utility and are then justified by philosophers after the fact. Or, you know, unjustified by philosophers after the fact. It really depends. I propose that Rudyard become an ahistorian. I like it.
You know, I think we form society based off of literal reality, like you're saying, but also off of abstract concepts like our rights are given to us.
I love these guys sitting around saying the stupidest thing you've ever heard. It's like they're having a contest of stupid might. It's genuinely incredible. Like, I think that we live in I think we build society off of this fundamental reality, but also, sometimes I think we use these abstract ideas. Sometimes those abstract ideas come on in. Abstract ideas for the win.
By God. Whoa, man, reality is complicated. And my theory is that it's like the masculine and the feminine. The ideal and the material match up together. And so...
Whoa. Hell yeah. Who's up for getting some of their material in that idealacy, You know what I'm saying? Who's up? You up, ideal?
There's a dynamic between them where the ideal can pull a little bit and the material can pull a little bit, and it's a negotiation between the two.
So do you think right now
to my point, right? What you're saying is what I'm saying, right? I agree that, for example, the national debt that the boomers created is something that my generation and your generation are going to have to deal with. But at the same time, I might be able to say the way that I identify as an individual, the things that I carry into this world, as far as like maybe things like opportunity and circumstance, shouldn't be nearly as neatly tied to my parents. I think that that's a very old world idea that I don't like.
But if
right?
Parents,
there's these tension between these two
things. If your
things.
parents literally birthed you here, then your whole world identity would revolve around the fact that they did that.
Only if you lived here would it matter.
If you were born here. So it totally depends.
I don't think any of these people actually live this way. Like, I'm sorry, do you all live in like the same neighborhood as the one you were born in? Is that how you define yourself, by like what neighborhood the hospital you popped out of a vagina was in? Like, chances are no. Almost nobody lives right next to the hospital where they were born. Almost nobody does. And even if you did, most people move over the course of their lives. And like, you come to identify with the place that you live in, not the place that you were like punted out of a vagine. Like, you identify with where you live, where you build a life. I never left the hospital wing. It's my kingdom now.
If you lived here.
You're saying it's your identity shouldn't be anything to do with your parents, but your parents decided where you're going to be born.
Nothing to do with your parents. The idea is that you shouldn't have to inherit their actions, right?
But you
become a citizen of the country they choose to birth you.
But you do inherit their sins, though.
To some extent, well, they do, but we don't, right? My dad, he's not any of these things, but say my dad is an alcoholic and a thief. That doesn't mean that I am accountable for the time that he stole from somebody. This is why, like, lands rights can get really messy, and we often say in the case of, like, is that stolen land or not? We go, well, maybe my ancestors, but for how long do we have to pay for that, right?
Yeah,
Our ancestors...
40 acres and a mule. I shouldn't have to pay for that.
By that logic, white people should not be held to the actions of their ancestors, because we should not inherit the costs of our ancestors.
Wait a minute.
And also, on top of it, I said that the development of these moral codes is a conflict.
God, okay, so there's a big difference between not being judged as an individual for, like, the actions your parents took, and we should ignore systemic, widespread inequality that happened in the past and perpetuates damage and inequalities into the present day. Like, those are two different things. They're not the same. It's the, like, trying to be like, well, the sins of the father shouldn't be the sins of the child. And that's why when every last baby boomer has died, we wipe clean the national debt, and all the CO2 falls out of the atmosphere. Like, that's not how that works. You still have to deal with those created variables that exist in reality, and we should deal with them rather than look to try and scapegoat them. God, yeah, like, even. Like, conversations over reparations are to address the inequalities that have persisted following the end of slavery, caveat, except in prisons.
Between the material and the ideal. What you're basically saying is that if the ideal is a man and the material is the woman, the man should just totally dominate the woman without reference to the material realities.
That's not what I'm...
Not only can you take a load, you can take the ultimate load
the ultimate load of reality into the ideal, or vice versa.
Guys,
Same.
wait, hold on. I want to change my opinion because I just realized something.
That you're a Democrat.
nice.
No,
I did it.
For the longest
I win.
time, I just thought I was a quarter Korean, but then I found out that I'm actually 5% Japanese. Now I'm in favor of the sins of the father because this means the United States government's got to give me reparations because I'm Japanese. So pay up.
You have to prove that they stole stuff from you too.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No.
I think the Japanese had to submit receipts of being like, hey,
be
but
right
also
back.
part of why
I
they
would
got
argue
paid back.
that's racist. I shouldn't
But also
go
part of why they got
code.
paid back is because it was actually within the same generation.
you guys
God, they're so like they're all so racist. It's so awful. And like NotSoErudite's doing her best, but like, damn, everyone around her is just awful.
think that we're out of balance with like, 'cause, okay, so like what you were saying about the politics based on the harsh reality and politics based on the philosophy, that we've become so, I think we've become so into philosophy with post, thank you, Rudyard, yeah, talk me in, that we become like in postmodernism, that we're so philosophical heavy that we've lost sight with just brute reality at points.
We're radically delusional. I think that's just obvious. Our moral code is no frame for reality.
Yep.
Okay, I'll be right back.
This is just unhinged hog slop. It's just the most unhinged hog slop, high on its own farts bullshit that I've ever seen. And I'm not gonna lie, I do find this incredibly funny. It's deeply hateful, but I do find it very funny.
Thanks.
I agree with that.
I agree with the internet. It's easy to become something you're not, to play in fantasy. And since the end of the Cold War, we've just been carte blanche. We haven't had repercussions.
How about we go nuclear and jump to this next story? Donald Trump is the Antichrist. Now that I've sufficiently made many of you angry, and I'll say that I'm joking, there is something interesting because we've got this tweet from Drew Tang, who says, remember when me and Donnie Darkind and Sovereign Bra went on Timcast in December of 2023 and quoted this exact verse to him saying it would happen to Trump, and then the FBI had the episode taken off YouTube. Wait. Oh, that's right. The episode was taken off of YouTube. And Leonardo Joni, you know you love her, she posted this. What do we think of this? And it shows Trump with...
Wait, no. Nobody knows who the fuck you're talking about. Like, I'm sorry. I'm online covering this shit all the time. I've literally never heard of that person. To be honest, I hadn't heard of the other two people either. And I pay attention to this space like all the time. Like all the time. I'm paying attention to what these conservatives do. And like, you know her, you love her. No, you don't. Stop lying. Why are you always lying?
His ear bleeding. I saw that one of the heads of the beast seemed wounded beyond recovery, but the fatal wound was healed. The whole world marveled at this miracle and gave allegiance to the beast. Revelation. Now, what's really interesting about this is that when I saw this tweet, I recalled sitting down with these individuals, and they literally explained to me that Donald Trump would be injured on the right side of his body in some capacity because that was if he was the Antichrist, that was a symbol of the Antichrist. And so when I saw this, I was like, no, wait a minute, because they did say it on the show. So I asked Grok, and it said the idea of the Antichrist will be...
Oh, God. Oh... Nostradamus time. It's time. Guys, he was visited on his podcast by two prophets, and then Donald Trump got almost fatally wounded on his right side. And it's been confirmed by Grok, everybody. If Grok says it, it has to be true. I asked Grok, is maybe one of the biggest red flags that possibly exists. Like, if someone you know or love is at the point where they're saying without a hint of shame, without a hint of being like absolutely aware of how embarrassing this is, but they say to you, I asked Grok, you point at them in their face and you just laugh. You laugh until they wither into dust, until their skeleton is rolling around in the dust-blown hills and valleys of the far-flung future, okay? Like, you laugh at them for now and all time because they have just told you that they are worthy of that level of mockery, okay?
be injured on the right side comes primarily from interpretations of biblical prophecy. Woe to the worthless shepherd who leaves the flock. A sword shall be against his arm and against his right eye. His arm shall completely wither and his right eye shall be totally blinded. Well, in all seriousness, Trump is not completely blinded, but the bullet did hit his right ear. And what they said on the show.
And as we all know, your ear and your eye are basically the same thing.
Was that Trump would be injured somewhere on the right side of his face, not necessarily his eye. And then, ladies and gentlemen, hammer drop time. Nasty bruise on Trump's hand breaks through layers of makeup. The president showed it off to Irish leader on St. Patrick's Day. So this is a story the left has been playing like crazy. Trump's right arm, his right hand, has been consistently bruised.
And that bruise, the mark of the beast. Let's go. Exia Ross, it's truly just a train to stupid town. No stops, only acceleration.
Bruised for going on months now, which again, I am not saying is the Antichrist, but a lot of these people.
I'm not saying he's the Antichrist, but I am saying.
Men wearing makeup is pretty Antichrist behavior when you
wearing
think about
makeup.
it.
Well, he's trying to cover up that his right arm.
God, Tim thinks she's actually confused. Tim thinks she's actually confused. Oh God. Well, you know, in some cases, makeup can be used to conceal blemishes beneath it, says Tim, mansplaining the concept of makeup.
I don't care why he's wearing it. It's
is bruised.
I'm kidding.
Is perhaps withering.
Man, she shouldn't even have to say I'm just kidding. But she has to, because, like, half the panel thought she was being serious.
Damn.
I just think that was interesting. I don't know.
If the Antichrist is here, my personal take is that people can behave in a Christ-like manner or in an Antichrist-like behavior. And if you're super famous and powerful and you start being sinful, then you're exhibiting Antichrist-like behaviors and you'll be like one of those Antichrist people.
But only if you're super famous. If you're not super famous and do those Antichrist-like behaviors, you're all good though. You're fine.
Wait,
that's my personal take. But now let's just pretend there is a guy that is the Antichrist. That means the second coming is arriving.
He doesn't know enough.
Which is what the argument is about the war in Israel and Netanyahu saying the Messianic era will come, but it won't be next Thursday. And then you've got people pointing to Donald Trump. You've got the efforts to breed the red heifer. I am not saying it's prophecy, but I am suggesting that people want it to be.
Roger, were you going to say something?
Trump doesn't know enough esoteric religious lore to be the Antichrist.
Also, didn't the verse say that he was gravely wounded? In the case, he literally wasn't gravely wounded. He had his ear nicked.
He was shot in the head.
He wasn't.
His ear was nicked. He got shot in the head. Have you no heart? I can't. I literally physically cannot. This is when I was young, I would react really hard to things like The Office that relied on just kind of like awkward humor, you know? Like I would cringe so hard I would need to leave the room. I can watch The Office now. I can watch that cringe humor and be totally fine. This is bringing up that same feeling. I'm feeling like an amount of tension in me that is so difficult to manage.
He literally wasn't gravely wounded. That was the miracle, is that despite having somebody shooting at his head.
So people have predicted the book of Revelations 50 times and has yet to have happened. That is a 0% track record.
Sure, but once it does, then they'll be right.
Then we're all dead.
So the Antichrist is deeply knowledgeable in religion? Is that what you were saying?
So if someone were to be the Antichrist, they'd have a wide variety of esoteric lore in order to found the anti-religion against Christ.
The lore. Although, just throwing this out there, counterpoint, if someone was the Antichrist, would they not just be believed by most Christians? Isn't that like the point of an Antichrist? Would an Antichrist be coming to like steal all your Christians? seems to me like an antichrist figure shows up and pulls people away from Christ, you know?
And so you could assess their actions and their behaviors based off their knowledge of religious lore.
Could it be
Okay, hear me out.
business?
He's hiding his power letter. Okay, he does have the religious
Thanks,
lore, but he
Sexy
can't
Ross.
show people yet because he
doubt
can't
that.
let them know.
Could his knowledge of religious lore be his knowledge of business?
No.
Seeing
No.
that the dollar is now what people worship?
They're not transferable.
Are you sure? Because
I'm
people
pretty
seem to
sure.
worship money.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, money's God on earth, is it not?
No, that's not how that's.
Money's God on earth, is it not? Man.
It's not how the
Fuck.
mystic lore goes.
Okay.
It is now.
So it's going to be like a priest. They say it's going to be a priest.
If he is making weird esoteric remarks and he drops these things inside his content that demonstrates that he knows more than he says, then you'll know.
What would be an example of a weird esoteric remark?
So I'm trying to figure out.
He's trying to figure out if you're the Antichrist, by the way.
I'm
Don't
not.
tell him. Don't tell him.
I'm not. So
That's what the
when
Antichrist
someone
would say.
when
right?
someone
Exactly.
when people. Different mystics have different code words they use to demonstrate the religious tradition they're operating in. So you can look at the code words they're operating under to figure out what their level is.
You know what? I actually tell this to my D&D players all the time. You know, you just need to look for the right code word to see their character sheet, and then all of a sudden you know what their level is. I am always saying this.
So Hermetics do that, Gnostics do it, Platonists do it.
Okay. So his philosophy, not a Gnostic, not a Platist, but what is he? A secular businessman?
Yeah, he is.
That's his philosophy.
He's a
So
hedonist.
is he speaking in code?
No, he's not.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty
'Cause
sure.
We just don't know the code.
I'm pretty sure.
This guy knows.
This is so stupid. It's so stupid. I'm dying inside.
Well, I mean,
everything.
if he doesn't know, if we don't know the
Wears
code, then
glasses.
no one.
Huh. Did any of you pick up on the code I just told you about my level? I bet most of you aren't even high enough level to even begin to look for it.
No one knows the
Some
code. I
people
mean, is he
think they
speaking
know
the
the
code?
code.
Phil, is something happening?
Wait, are you a DM? Yeah. I did for those who are interested, I did a live play podcast, multiple live play podcasts, but the one that I like the best, or the most that is finished, is called Dragon Guard. It's a subset of the Best Games period, and it's really fucking fun. Go check it out.
We don't know about?
I mean, if
Many
we
things
don't
happen.
know,
I don't know, dude. I think I can't even joke about it. If there was an Antichrist on Earth right now, who the fuck else would it be than Donald Trump? It would have to be that guy.
what?
No, Moonlord, no, you're not supposed to say that. That's too not fence-sittery. You can't say that on the Tim Pool show.
Peter Thiel?
Well, Peter Thiel thinks
It
it's
would
Greta
be-
Thunberg.
It would be
Wait,
the weaker
what?
Justin Bieber.
Or like Elon Musk. It's just a really
Does Greta
wealthy...
Thunberg know enough esoteric religious
There's
lore
like
to
a-
be the Antichrist?
Tim Pool is just like, please shut the fuck up, Moonlord. Shut the fuck up.
Ross just thought, I think it was in Ross's interview with Peter Thiel, he was like, oh yeah, it's Greta Thunberg. She's the Antichrist. I can't remember his reasoning.
Peter Thiel is having a meeting, I guess, today or this week at the Vatican or something like that. Let me see what I can.
Okay,
pull
Don,
up.
I don't think you're the Antichrist.
Wait, his name is Moonlord? His name isn't Moonlord. His name is Ian. But we call him Moonlord because that's just kind of where his brain's at.
By the way, I already said my philosophy. I think all of us can exhibit the behavior and become it. So don't say stuff like I hate my enemies, worship pain on your enemies, because that's wrath. That is a sin. You
Ian's
said
a
it.
Quaker.
Well, man, what
Well,
if
you'll
Karl
be
Marx
Antichrist-like.
was? What if Karl Marx was the Antichrist because he established
God, they need to be so much higher for this. Yeah, man. What if Karl Marx was the Antichrist? Like, you've nothing to lose but your chains? What are they all doing in chains in the first place? Sounds like a pretty cool party.
a religion based upon material things, and he was also a Jew, and then it was an anti-church founded upon envy rather than love.
Wait, what was that middle one? Hey, hey, Rudyard, what? Wait a minute. What was that middle quality?
On your enemies, because that's wrath. That is a sin.
Ian's a Quaker.
Well, man, what if
You'll be
Karl Marx
Antichrist-like.
was? What if Karl Marx was the Antichrist because he established a religion based upon material things, and he was also a Jew, and then it was an anti-church founded upon envy rather than love?
Who would be?
I do want to reiterate that everything that we have ever unearthed while covering Whatifalthist indicates that he is absolutely a weaselly little Nazi bitch. And I mean, from like the mystical eugenics idea that he's thrown out there, to like his belief that there is like a, race science is valid, etc. Like, this is not an unsurprising thing for him to throw out there.
Then what would happen in the story leading to Christ's return?
So some people think that the book of, so I'm not a Book of Revelations guy. That's not my thing. But some people think that Book of Revelations takes course over centuries, and you're compressing a complex historic event like the fall of Rome into a singular chapter.
They'll post hoc update their theory to match like whatever's happened in the timeline for their preference.
So the response, the antidote to communism would be the return of Christ. In this story, Christ would
Which
return and
arguably
solve
with communism getting
Marx's
crossed
issue.
in the 70s, maybe we...
Okay, so to summon Jesus, we just need to spread communism everywhere, right? Right, guys? That's what will bring Jesus back. Shh, that's how we win back the evangelicals to the left.
You're in heaven now?
Nah, this is hell.
It's just one way of looking at reality.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be absolutely wild if, like, in 2 years, like, literally Jesus just came back?
It would be
I
pretty
think
wild.
Jesus'
Jesus is my
spirit's
homie.
Wouldn't it be pretty wild if we had like definitive evidence of a god? That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I guess. I just, like, what if the single most world-shattering thing ever happened? That'd be pretty cool. I guess.
That'd be cool.
dancing
wild.
with us right now.
Jesus' spirit is within the Christian community.
Oh yeah, no. Here's a question though: when he comes back, does he like descend from the heavens, or is he already here, and then like reveals himself?
He's inside you.
What I would guess,
Quaker says inside you.
what I would guess is that he would embody the spirit within his action, and people wouldn't notice.
That's what I'm talking about. Subversive.
That's not at all what Revelation says happens when he comes back.
Dude, so nobody would know he was here, or
Wait, why would he not notice? Jesus knew that he was Christ.
But the return.
You know,
Jesus knew
it's going to
Christ.
be really funny when like it happens and there's like the rapture happens, but then all the Orthodox people are still here and they think they're right, but they're not.
Yeah, all those
I'm just-
EO
Man, so many original ideas coming out of Tim Pool right now. It's crazy. He should write them down. You know, write his own little fiction book about that.
I'm just kidding,
bros,
Orthodox.
all those
I was just
EO
ragging on
bros
you.
down bad. The schism.
The Roman Catholics
the
are all
schism
gone.
really
They're like,
meant something.
no!
It's crazy that for centuries leading up to Christ, in the Jewish community, they would constantly talk about the rise of their Messiah, and the Messiah was about to come, and the Messiah would defeat the Romans, and then they didn't figure out it was Christ.
The Romans killed him, and then the Roman Empire continued for like another several centuries. What are you talking about? Oh no! Stupid, it burns.
Ironic.
Well, did he defeat? I mean, I guess.
So wait,
kinda-
hold on. So when he comes back, who are the Romans? Like he's gonna go to Italy and like defeat the Roman Catholics.
This is why I said I wasn't a Book of Revelations guy, because I don't think I can actually figure this out.
So when Christ returns, he defeats the Romans.
So there was Christ emerged from a Jewish messianic tradition that stemmed back for centuries leading up to him. In this tradition, they thought that their Messiah would arise and then defeat the Roman Empire because Israel was a Roman colony.
Yeah.
And
That's why they don't like Jesus, the Christian Jesus, because he wasn't political against the Romans.
that's exactly right, actually.
Oh, look at that, EO bros. Jesus wasn't political. Interesting.
No, Jesus wasn't political. He believed in God. And so Jesus emerged and he said we should love each other.
God, famously an apolitical entity and famously not considered a political subject in world history.
we should accept the Roman colonization because the kingdom of heaven lies within. And they killed him for that because they were looking for the Messiah, but then he didn't have the message they wanted, that they launch a war.
Guys, it's not political to go into your local temple and start flipping over tables. That's just religion. It's just religion to riot in the square. It's not political, guys. Jesus wasn't a political figure. He was just, tried and found guilty in a court of law in a colonial area of a mighty empire and then put to death by its military might. Just not political, guys.
Or against the Romans.
The White House is Roman. It's Roman architecture. They even have it as white pillars, unpainted, because the Roman architecture, all the paint washed off. These idiot Americans came and they rebuilt it without paint. So what is this? Return of Christ going to come overthrow the vestiges of the Roman Empire? That's the guise of the American oligarchy and reset the system to a republic again?
Everyone used.
Yeah, but that's exactly what happened. Yeah, Yeah, famously in the Bible has nothing to say about anything bad happening to most of the planet when Jesus comes back.
Roman architecture at the point.
But they forgot to paint the stuff. The Roman statues weren't white back in the day. That's what they get wrong.
Yeah, they were all crazy rainbows. Yeah. They were woke.
And then so the Jews will be freed from the tyranny of the American Empire, the British Empire, and then the ones that have strayed and have forgotten what God is will return to God.
They need to rebuild the temple, and then the prophecy can be fulfilled.
No, and the red heifer.
This is all so stupid, and it's made so much worse by the fact that there are people who unironically believe this shit that are making military decisions right now. Oh boy.
Oh,
they gotta get the cow.
Genetic engineering.
They're trying.
Is your old camp counselor knowledge screaming at how little these guys know about their own made-up lore? Yeah, it is. And also, I did get a bit of that out of my system earlier because we also covered Shadiversity. Shadiversity's new channel where he argues Mormon apologetics very, very poorly. So, I've gotten a lot of this out of my system today, but genuinely, this is a crazy level of it
too. Which is crazy. They're trying to manufacture the end of times.
Bruh.
I think this whole Jesus.
I like this reality. I don't want this reality to end.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to
go
for a long time.
One of my simulation theories is that we're just an AI generated television entertainment show for the progenitors. So they made.
Man. How much do you have to hate yourself to even contemplate that? How much do you have to genuinely fucking hate yourself to come up with this idea?
Think about it this way. Instead of making a show like we view a show, you get an AI to auto-generate the stories, and it's like a real-time progressive thing you can just turn on and watch. And then be like, I love the Trump show. We just watched President Trump be crazy.
Why would anybody want that? Why would anybody want that? Just meaningless gibberish pumped into your eyes and ears? Ew. No.
This AI is an absolute sexual freak.
But it's not AI.
Okay?
It's just
for sure, bro. It's gonna be a lot of porn for people to watch.
Whoa, man. What if reality
is OnlyFans makes money?
What if reality is a dream by the gods in order to simulate different realities to figure out what does and doesn't work so that they can repurpose this into the tree of life?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Okay. There's a non-0% chance that is something that Rudyard has added to his particular belief system. There's a non-zero chance that he actually believes that. Considering we've delved into his religious ideas in the past, and they are absolutely batshit crazy.
And it's not AI, it's I. That's why we think of ourselves, we call ourselves I. It's intelligence, it's not artificial, this is actual I.
We gotta jump to this next story so we can explain to you, my friends, you need to...
I'm not touching that one. I know you're all expecting me to make a comment, but I'm not gonna... What is this? Sorry, I was looking at chat, I didn't see what had popped up on screen. Oh, God.
understand just how powerful AI has become. While I wouldn't describe this as family friendly, maybe you don't want your kids watching it.
That's how you make family.
But it is very funny. Take a look at this AI generated trailer for a movie that you wish existed.
3 years after a string of brutal unsolved murders of local co-eds with impossibly fat milkers, the women of Delta Delta D will be headed to a new space station as part of NASA's Project Bust.
It's scary. The titty killer just disappeared. We're going to be 250 miles up. The only person watching us get changed is going to be a 60-year-old man at Cape Sinigo. You know, I heard in space your boobs actually get bigger.
Why exactly are they sending a shuttle full of sorority girls to space? Son, the only thing bigger than the NASA budget after this is going to be the strain on those girls' sweaters. This is like the plot of a movie written by a 12-year-old boy.
This is the first time I felt safe since the titty killer.
You don't think it's him, do you? Who else would go all the way to space?
It's like a physics test for an AI.
The boys down here tell me you're flat as a board. If that's right, you're basically invisible to them. You might be our only hope.
This is crazy. Wow. Do you guys remember when we reviewed Capital of Conformity? Yeah.
Man, of course they're soying out over, like, the absolute dipshittiest AI, like, generated film. And they're like, what if we could watch this all the time? And it's like, this was boring as shit. Like, come on. Get, like, actual girls. If you want to deliver on this premise, there's an entire, like, genre of film built around delivering this premise. Like, just make an actual movie. Like, just make an actual movie like this. That could have totally been made in the 80s. It's still totally possible to make it now. God. But they're all like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Oh my God, what if I just had a 24-hour feed of this in my face? Wouldn't that be the epitome of art?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Let me contrast this for you guys. Capital of Conformity, because this was a couple of years ago. That was see if I can pull it up. And real quick, I'll only play like 2 seconds for you.
You.
Oh man.
Yes, you.
So good.
Do you dread waking up in the morning? Are you feeling helpless in your society? Perhaps even a bit lost? Well, look no further. At the Capitol, we offer an escape, a new beginning, a lifetime of unending joy. We have an abundance of attractions so captivating, you'll...
They're showing this off because they think this is a good example of... okay.
Wonder how you ever lived without them.
I recommend, if you guys have not seen Capital of Conformity from Ozzy Alter, you must watch it. And I will tell you what's really sad about this. This short film, it's 2 minutes and 42 seconds, and it's brilliantly done. But the limitations of AI video made this movie feel like a nightmare.
Yeah.
The faces are all melting together. People are walking in weird ways. It feels like you're in a nightmare, and it works perfectly. But as AI gets better, it loses that. So now we just have the titty killer, which is really, really good. And it's crazy that we've gotten to this point in...
It's really, really good, guys. We could have infinite titties in front of us. Not like the current infinite titties that we already have in front of us on the internet. I mean, we could have infinite fake titties on the internet, but not like those kinds of fake titties. You know what I mean. These kinds of digital fake titties that were never real to begin with. Like, it's sad.
AI generation. Apparently, C-Dance 3, China's new AI video model, it's not released yet, but these are the leaks. In 30 seconds, it can render a 17-minute short film. Just think about how psychotic that is. When this comes out, you're going to type in short film about Titty Killer 5, and it will make a full movie for you. And then...
Wow. Sounds like a great use of your limited time on this earth to watch a piece of garbage that doesn't mean anything. Wow. Sometimes you just need machines to slop some art into you.
depending on your proclivities, it might be worse than just titty killer.
Well, I just gotta say, we've seen it 3 times, so I feel like I know what some people's search history will be in this robot. Okay.
Titty killer. I don't want them to die. I want them to play games with each other, like
Titty
board
saver.
games. I want Titty Candyland in outer space.
You know, I didn't expect that to open up learning more about you, but that's fair enough.
But we did play it.
Titty Candyland in space? I can't take much more of this, guys.
That is incorrect. We played it 2.5 times because I didn't see the beginning the first time when he says this.
3 years after a string of brutal unsolved murders of local co-eds with impossibly fat milkers. The
4 times. The important plot lore. The important plot lore there, yeah.
Dude, the movies that people are going to make are going to melt your eyeballs.
He wants AI-generated porn. Yeah, that's exactly what he wants. And also, the movies that people are going to generate are going to melt your eyeballs. Who gives a shit? Like, I'm sorry. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about a movie that you couldn't even be bothered to make? Like, you couldn't be bothered to, like, go and get, like, some friends to, like, film something. Like, there are so many cool movies that are just, like, someone grabs their friends to do, like, a weekend shoot. And it's some of the most fascinating stuff that exists out there.
Dr. Jones, again we see there is nothing you can possess which I cannot take away, and you thought I'd given up.
So, you might notice it says coming soon. Well, after 7 years, they completed that shot-for-shot remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and now there's a documentary about it. Even those guys copying shot-for-shot has more artistry and creativity than that AI nonsense. Right? Exactly! Like, you got, like, 2 12-year-olds who understand, like, that there's there's a magic in movies. You can't just recreate it by typing in a couple of prompts. Like, the magic of film is in limitation and in the, like, interplay between limitation and creativity and you know, dreams. There's just nothing to connect with in Titty Killer 5 0G. Yeah, like, there's just no artistry in this.
This is already good. They're going to do retro where they're like, give me AI, a version of it, but AI 2025 March 17th version. It's just like we make 8-bit video games still.
Yeah, it is worth noting, it is worth pointing out that it was a very...
I do want to point out, even if they got the future they wanted and such a device was readily available and capable of doing exactly what they are saying it is capable of doing, none of them would watch those. Outside of, like, odd gags like this, like, people don't want to watch an 1.5 hour long movie generated by AI.
Very, very short amount of time where you could get that, I guess, surreal quality in AI videos where it was where it was like almost like Uncanny Valley, like it was just creepy. Like everyone's familiar with the Will Smith eating spaghetti and how that was almost a nightmare in and of itself. Like it was just so creepy looking, and obviously that's gone nowadays. And I'm not even sure if you could get an AI to produce that quality anymore. I actually, to be honest with you, I imagine eventually it will be able to do that. You know, they'll be able to say, look, make it as if this. But you can't.
I don't understand why they want any of these things.
You can't just prompt it to do something that's that. I don't know if I want to say the texture is a certain way. I don't know if that's the right way to articulate it, but it was, the capital of conformity was super creepy.
Yeah, I recommend it.
It was the imperfection in it that was so creepy.
I asked Roseanne if now's the time to stop making movies and to start just focus on AI, because the
Fuck, man. Moonlord just keeps coming in with the wildest shit. I was talking with Roseanne the other day and asked her if it was time to get out of the movie business and focus on AI.
and she and Jake, her son, were like, no, now's the time.
No
to make
way,
movies.
dude. Look at this. I mean, look, if you want to make a movie, you just do this.
That's what you could.
This is crazy.
But
I mean, look, aside from the fact that it's funny,
while you're on set, literally while you're not shooting, you could be making another movie.
For Roseanne, it was time to stop making media a long time ago.
God. Honestly, Moonlord did us a disservice by not encouraging her out of media. Yeah, no, it's time to go focus on AI investments, Roseanne Barr. Go focus on that. Bright future ahead for AI. I just... Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Just a casual anecdote about hanging out with Roseanne and asking her about the future of film.
Wondering who made this.
Yeah, we should shout these guys out. What were you saying, Carter?
I was saying maybe Roseanne meant that now's the time to make it because there won't be any more time after this gets so good.
Could be.
So, like, maybe you should, if you're going to do it now.
And show the world, like, hey, human art's still good.
Yeah.
Even though this is great.
Oh my God, wait, there's...
Is there a part 2?
There's actually a bunch of these?
Good. Are there 4?
Oh, there's actually 1 through 4.
Let's watch
Titty
all
Killer.
of them.
So this is Titty Killer in space. I get it.
I'm trying to figure out who made this, but apparently there's a 1 through 4 as well that you can watch.
I hope one of them's underground in the sewer system of New York.
Is that hot for you?
You know what movie was great? Chud.
I didn't see
Remember
it.
that one?
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
That's correct. That's correct.
Absolutely.
Chud.
Chud.
The
Never
80s.
seen that.
You know what we need to do? We need a nuclear war. We need one. Yeah, we need a nuclear war to wipe out all of our digital infrastructure so that we're forced to go back to an era of the 90s where we had Blockbuster Video.
That sucked, though.
No!
What is happening right now? I feel like I've been concussed.
Of course they aren't fans of media. They can't even do reverse shot for their portraits on the side or make it look like they're all watching the video.
No, those 12-year-olds who filmed Indiana Jones shot for shot had better style. This is crazy. Also, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs, Sake Tanuki.
Took so long to do stuff. That's
but all of the best culture came from 90s to like 2010s.
Yes,
What the fuck are you guys talking about? All the best culture came out of the 90s? Are you kidding me? Compared to the entire rest of human cultural development? This is the most millennial brain thing I've ever seen. No, guys, no, stop.
All of it. The
Yes.
emo
1994.
punk.
Only 94 was the year, dude.
1994 was the peak of
86
humanity.
was the shit. 94 was
That's
the
what I said,
bomb.
up to
97 was the...
No.
was when it started to
94,
change.
94 is the greatest year of humanity. Everybody
That's fucking crazy to say, bro.
agrees.
That's
Thank
when
you. That's when I
the
was born.
toadies were kicking off. I mean,
This is like when my boomer dad is like, nah, the best music was made by the Beatles. Everything after that is derivative and bad. And he stopped listening to music. This is the exact same shit, and it's as embarrassing to me as that was.
and it was a great year.
All of the
but it was
albums you
boring.
know from the 90s came out in 94.
Credit for 94.
All of the big 90s
I
albums.
was born
I
in
know them all,
January,
but
so
not-
it was the best
And
year.
you know
because
that-
I was
and you know
born
that
then.
94 was
Smashing
the most-
Pumpkins was
1994.
93. Siamese Dream was before that, I believe.
Ian Miller won the gold medal on Big Ben, the coolest horse in the world, 1994.
What happened?
Nothing.
Hey, the 90s they only seem cool in retrospect. It's like that nostalgia. Being there was boring as fuck.
Anything from 90s to 2015 just like was, I don't know, like, bro, Gen Z, look, they dress better than we ever did, but they don't have any, like, they don't have goth or punk or emo.
Suck in the 90s, I think.
Live, Throwing Copper, 94. Bush, 16 Stone, 94. The Cranberries, 94.
Cranberries.
What else we got? Tori Amos, I'm not,
Little
whatever.
Earthquakes.
The
That was our first
Toadies was
album.
94.
Yeah.
We have Neil Young,
Kingdom.
that's fine. Soul Coughing, 94.
They were all great.
Dinosaur Jr., 94.
And really, you go back to 91. 91 and 94 were like,
let's see what else we
U2 was
got.
kicking it.
Smashing Pumpkins, of course, 94. You've got Bad Religion in 94.
Yeah, the fact that you go from talking about how great it is that AI is just gonna, in your mind, wipe out all other film creation that humans could possibly do, and then you're like, hey, remember the 90s when we had all these great things? Like, oh man, band after band after band after band of human-made music that they wouldn't give a shit about, even if it, like, note for note was played by AI and just generated for them. Like, but they don't even see a single hint of, like, the hypocrisy, a single blemish of it. It's crazy to me. God.
You've got what is it? There's a bunch of songs I'm not.
It's when we were from like Mr. Big to
Rancid,
Nirvana, that transition.
Stone Temple Pilots.
That was their second
Purple,
album, though.
Veruca
Yeah.
Salt.
So the 90s, I grew up in the 90s. I'm an avid kid of the 90s.
The
It
Offspring
sucks, I can tell you.
smash. They suck now, but we'll give them that one.
Ian, why do you hate
Blur.
the 90s so much?
R.E.M.
It was just
R.E.M.
Sonic Youth.
Because I'm an information guy. I like to learn, and it took so long to learn anything before the internet. It was awful. You'd go to the.
You had to read.
You'd have
Jar
to
of
look up
Flies.
books if you could even find the book. If you didn't even know what you were looking for, so it's like you go to card catalogs at the library. I'm like, I got to be home by 6 o'clock. And I'm like,
Soundgarden,
Music
Super
was
Unknown.
incredibly good in the 90s.
I know, I agree with that.
It was extremely good.
I listened to it 2+ hours a day every day, literally. Radio, I taped songs off the radio. I just laid in bed. All I did was like read and listen to music. That was or ride bikes or video games. But
you couldn't have
it was
Primus
so
nowadays.
We still have Primus now. What are you talking about?
Primus?
Primus is phenomenal.
No, wow. Do you know that Pink Floyd had a #1 album in 94?
No, I
The
didn't know
Wall?
that.
No.
No, that didn't come out.
No, it was the Division Bell.
Yeah, Division Bell was pretty good. Tom
Wow.
Petty, Tom Petty's greatest hits was great. Toto's greatest hits, past to present. I think
The
it was a little
Lion
different.
King was the #1 album for like 3 months.
I mean, U2, Automatic for the People, REM, groundbreaking. But so okay, I agree with that. But that
the
doesn't make
final
up for
season of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
good. But you had to wait.
Why on earth would you care about the final season of Star Trek: The Next Generation if you could just generate a bajillion seasons of Star Trek, Tim? Like, why would any of this be special to you if you got the future you desire? This is insane. It's as like an English major and like a lover of literature.
So like
I love me some
I'm
90s
so mad
music,
right now.
but to act like there weren't bangers in the 60s, 70s, and 80s is wild.
Right? Or to act like, I don't know, the culture of the past isn't also cool as fuck. It's such a small world they live in.
Thursday at 8 p.m. to watch.
TV was golden like 2003
It was so much
to
better. It was so much
2015.
better when we had to wait and we didn't know. When you were like, you'd pick up the phone and you'd call your friend's house and you'd be like, "Is Billy home?" And she'd be like, "I don't know where he is." But guess I'm not going to see him.
But that
and you hang out,
sucked
and that was
because then
it.
you just sit around all night.
No, I'd go to
you
the
went
park.
to try and find
You'd
everyone.
go to
Kick
the
the
park and
ball
see if
by
they were there.
yourself. But they-
No,
often
you
they
go
weren't.
to and then they were, and you were like,
Oh, well.
everybody would hang out in the same places because that's how you found each other.
You look for all the bikes.
Look for all the bikes.
Yeah, but then you get beat up if they were the wrong kids.
I mean,
Oh, well, yeah.
did you get beat up a lot when you were a kid?
Not a lot, but enough to learn that humans are vicious animals.
He's still traumatized to this day.
Yeah.
Hasn't gone over
Condolences,
it.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it happened. It was because I was too smart. I would always raise my hand in class.
Yep.
And
I
the other
understand
kids started
that.
picking on
I mean,
me.
just he's so smart in the show. Sometimes we all just want to
I
beat
didn't
him up.
realize that they were getting annoyed. 'cause
Rudyard's been just
the
wincing
teacher-
and just growling
The teacher
the whole
would call
time.
on me. I'd raise my hand. Obvious, easy answer. They're just
They're all so so bad at just like interacting with each other. It's so fucking hard to sit through this. And then like Tim's just like, yeah, Rudyard's been sitting over there like a fucking weirdo the entire time. Growling in the corner. I'm absolutely losing it. I can't look away. It's like watching a train crash headlong into another train.
Just repeat what we already told you. I'd answer. Okay, next question. They ask. No one. I'd raise my hand again, and they just look over me at the room like, anyone? Okay, Ian. I'd answer again. Third time, they do it again. No one would answer. I'd do it again. Eventually, the kids turned on me like they thought I was trying to be too good or something.
You should have told them that you were just better than they are.
I didn't know that at the time, though.
All right, we're going to go to your Rumble rants and Super Chats.
Yeah, children famously love being told that you're just better than they are. Children love that, especially from their peers. Kids really love that.
Smash the like button, share the show with everyone you've ever met in your life, including your neighbor and their dog. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, of course. That Uncensored Show will be coming up at rumble.com/TimcastIRL. But let's see what you guys have to say. Pinochet says, rule of law.
I'm sorry. Is somebody just like frantically tapping their foot? Because like I'm seeing the water wiggle and I'm hearing like that deep bass, and it's I feel like I'm going crazy.
IRL, but let's see what you guys have to say. Pinochet says, rule of law, LOL. There is no incentive to follow laws anymore, not to mention the laws and systems politicians skirt and ignore. There will never be justice in this country again.
But he's Pinochet.
Not never again. Well, his name is actually Pinochet's Helicopter Tours.
Of course he'd say that. He's Pinochet.
Justice will come again, but only with moral homogeneity.
What?
And I think every society goes through this where you have a moral homogeneity and then it ebbs and flows, and then there's a...
Society never possesses moral homogeneity. There are always groups of people within society that disagree. Like, always. And any of this backwards casting Tim is doing is just an effort to create kind of this imagined past, you know? That he can say was so much more advanced or so much more degenerate than we are today, you know, depending on his needs.
A clash. This is weren't you saying, Rudyard, that like life is built upon opposition?
It is, yeah. The duality of
there must be opposition to our worldview for it to be challenged and evolve.
Yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, we just sit around like dodo birds, you know, just be all fat.
What's the best way to bring about homogeneous?
So
that's what the liberal economic order wants. They want global homogeny.
They want global homosexuality.
This is just so stupid. This is what happens when you base your whole worldview around Star Wars franchise being the most important thing ever, rather than just being some fun adventure films. I mean, I feel like if they thought about Star Wars more and actually critically examined Star Wars, they might notice some flaws in their own reasoning.
But
no, they want
global homogenization.
If you want homogeneity, you can either have everyone mate together, or you can segment into smaller populations.
Well, they're trying.
Oh, this is so uncomfortable. This is so uncomfortable. Oh God, we're in the feeling I had when I watched the episode of The Office titled Scott's Tots, and I don't know if I can watch the rest of this. This is really uncomfortable. I feel so bad for her.
That first one.
Yeah, and I don't want a purely homogenous country, because you look at Scandinavia,
Iceland.
So
they're all cousins.
Yeah, that's true. But also they're hyper-conformist societies. And in a place as big as in America, we're not all going to be homogenous. The question...
You can stop the video at any point. It's your stream. But I promised you that I'd watch it for you. I offered it as a dodo goal.
Is what groups are fighting each other.
Yeah, but they're happy to be conformist.
I don't think they are. They have a super high suicide rate.
Well, that's because of the weather, though.
Jack, you have free will. You are alive. You're a streamer with free will.
Also, all liberals and love the gays, so you guys might not like that society, that world order.
That's right. I got no issue with the gays. Just, do your thing somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Just let me black out in peace.
Like another country.
I have no problem with the gays. I just don't want to see it. Sounds kind of like a problem, huh?
I might be willing to trans the kids.
No, the only issue I have with the trans is the kids, No kids.
Look, they're a very liberal, progressive society.
Liberal's not the right word for that, though. You know what I mean?
Which?
Like, it's not liberal to cut off a kid's, hoo-hoo.
No, I would say...
No, it's not. That's why they don't do that. Shut the fuck up, you lying bitch.
But that's progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said they were liberal, and I'm like, well,
Well, I value liberalism more than progressivism. I have sensitivities to certain progressive values, but...
I don't even understand how, the trans stuff is progressivism. Is it like
progressivism
eugenics?
It's like a really loose label for essentially, pushing dominantly for areas where the, high levels of minorities have been, disproportionately disaffected, basically.
I don't know. I like the progressives of the early 1900s were eugenicists. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
They were into eugenics.
I don't know if I would agree that the progressive...
Jazz Dog, did he ask if trans was eugenics? Because I thought my brain was tricking me. I heard him say it, and I was like, no, that couldn't... It was kind of mumbled. That couldn't possibly be what he said.
Were
eugenicists?
Unfortunately disaffected, basically.
I don't know. I like the progressives of the early 1900s were eugenicists.
Where the really loose label for essentially...
And stuff is progressivism. Is it like
progressivism
eugenics?
It's like a really loose label for essentially pushing dominantly for areas where the high levels of minorities have been disproportionately disaffected, basically.
I don't know. I like the progressives of the early 1900s were eugenicists. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
They were into eugenics.
I don't know if I would agree that the progressives were. I would say that was more mainstream.
That was their
not
principal
the progressives.
thing.
No, not the progressives. That was the mainstream.
No, those are the progressives.
Eugenics was mainstream more than it was progressive.
There's eugenics.
She's right, of course.
This was not a mainstream opinion. It was an opinion pushed by...
Oh, Iceland has lower suicide rates than the US. How about them apples?
By small elites, but the term progressive, it's had a wildly different meaning from a century ago than today. It used to be Woodrow Wilson was a progressive. Where
this is a fact, by the way.
Yeah, Thomas Sowell talks about it. Woodrow Wilson.
If Thomas Sowell says it, it must be true. Man, very noted for his accurate historical takes.
Was super racist. He was also pro-centralized state and pro-eugenics. And what happened is the Marxists took over time, and with FDR, you saw a shifting.
Man, I love this world where Rudyard is claiming that Woodrow Wilson was infiltrated by the communists and the Marxists. I can't. Woodrow Wilson wasn't a communist. He was a eugenicist, though, and he was a raging racist. Jack, you have free will!
Of the term progressive, and the term liberal got co-opted by leftists under FDR as well.
Sure, it's just like this is such a boring, uninteresting talking point. It's like we're people of the past into bad things sometimes.
I find the entire left platform boring because it's inaccurate.
Oh, good one. Really got him with that one, right?
Yeah, I did.
Changing of definite.
Oh God, he's so bad at interacting with other people. Holy shit. Good
job, autism bullying at its finest. Right? So, if we want to engage with the actual ideas here, right? Eugenics was popular, so was phrenology, right? And these fell out of favor. Although a certain level of soft eugenics has almost been held universally, even to this day, right? We just don't want to call it eugenics, right? Most people are okay, for example, with making sure that we try to reduce over time.
Is this what I'm thinking of? When you guys say Jack, you have free will, this is what I'm thinking of, I think.
You are a regular guy. You can enter a space. You are a regular guy. You can enter a room. You are a regular guy. You can do that transaction. You are a regular guy. You know how to answer the phone. You are a regular guy. You know what sleep is. You are a regular guy. You know how to wake up. You are a regular guy. You know how to move through space. You are a regular guy. You know what it means to be you.
Wow, I found that one strangely inspiring.
Rare diseases that cause immense suffering, right? Like people are broadly okay with these ideas. And so obviously I'm not a supporter of eugenics, but I think like saying like it was just a left idea. It's like, okay, I could just say conservatives just always really love slavery and just love slavery. It's just like it's an unsophisticated, uninteresting way to engage with the ideas because it requires typifying an entire like half of political thought that has a massive amount of history that's unsatisfying. It would be the same as if I did that to the conservative side, which I typically aim not to do.
You would say a different thing in a different context. In a different.
Wow, what an insightful thing to say. You would say a different thing at a different time, in a different context. Yeah, that is how speaking works, actually. God. Recently, you've seen and heard of sightings and activity in of ICE sightings and activity in Grand Forks. Yeah, I've been hearing about that too. It's disturbing how they're everywhere.
Different context where you're talking about. So, in a different context where you're talking about what traits do you want to further inside the population? Because you accept these principles, and I'm not a big eugenics guy. I don't support it. I believe in the.
Not a big eugenics guy, but I do have a religious belief in race science.
A mating free market, but.
Why do I always regret instantly unpausing this? I believe in a mating free market is such a weird thing to say. It's such a weird thing to say. You know, we need to make shame great again. I think we need to make shame great again. More people should be ashamed. You know, specifically, I just think more people should be ashamed.
Not a big eugenics guy, more of an eugenics guy.
Oh, Sake Tanuki, I award you the first chat member of the night. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs and the puns.
But so you're willing to accept the principles that are bad, like horrible illnesses. But what principles are positive? What are the positive genetic traits you'd select for?
There aren't positive genetic traits that I would like to select for.
There are traits that make people more successful. There are traits that make people more intelligent.
Yeah, but
He genuinely just... I'm not a big eugenics guy, but describes the... Yeah, there are genetic factors that make you more intelligent and successful and handsome and desirable, and yeah, showing his hand a little bit, to say the least.
I don't want any level of state level pressure to be selecting for that. I think that would be bad.
You're willing to talk about it at the extremes, but you don't have a logically consistent code for what you're willing to accept.
Have you ever heard of the word pluralism?
But what does pluralism mean?
Pluralism means that you have irreducible moral values that often end up competing against one another. This is what most democracies are built on. For example, you've got like Hobbes and Locke.
To be fair, Rudyard doesn't believe in democracy either.
That are talking about privacy versus freedom, right? Privacy matters and freedom matters. And the actual answer is in different circumstances, you might have to prioritize security, such as at the border, whereas we might prioritize freedom, such as people can't just come into your house without a warrant and take things or arrest you, right? So we like have
but what does freedom mean? What even is a word when you get down to it? What even are we? Are we not all beings made out of the crude, unrefined stardust that flies through space? Aren't we only the little points of chaos directed to live for but a time before we fade into the darkness of the ether? Are we not simply ourselves?
These trade-offs all the time. This is what pluralism is. It's a very accepted standard thing.
What's the
God? He's still heavy breathing. It's so gross.
Line between that and just making things up based off context for what sounds good.
Well, typically you would utilize philosophy to build a rational reason as to why certain values might matter more here. This is what do you mean?
How do we have ethical systems? says man who is very intelligent.
Do you think Hobbes and Locke just didn't really engage in philosophy? They're just some silly Billy guys who just like had preferences?
Hobbes and Locke
do sound like two excellent additions to the Muppets. I'm not gonna lie, okay? Hobbes and Locke, excellent additions to a Muppet roster. I think one of them should be voiced by Jason Statham. I'm not picky about which one. And maybe the other one gets voiced by that guy who did Bane. You know, you just get. They could be like a Waldorf and Statler combo.
Could be radically right wing by the current context.
That's not what I asked you. I'll ask you again.
Of history.
Do you think Hobbes and Locke were silly little guys that just couldn't?
Them.
I would love them. I would love for them to be silly little guys, though. Tom Hardy, yes.
I'm asking your moral philosophy.
I asked you about Hobbes and Locke. Can you not answer it? Were they silly little guys? It's a comparison. I'm making an analogy of your logic.
Hobbes was operating under a...
Sorry. When you think about it, aren't all of us kind of silly little guys?
Radical modern monarchist perspective, and Locke was operating under a liberal perspective. They both ground themselves in the Greco-Roman and the Western and the Abrahamic tradition.
Sure.
That's not the modern left. The modern left is not operating on a similar level of rationality as those thinkers.
Of course they are. Most of the modern left is broadly built off of like Rawls and utilitarianism.
No, they're not. They just make shit up.
That's not true.
I love that Whatifalthist comes onto these shows, does his own channel, and is just like, the left. I've read thousands of books, and I can tell you the left is just making shit up. Because all of the books he's reading are by like dudes who died in the 1950s and were.
Your powers are useless on me. You silly Billy, Dr. Henry Killinger.
Suck it, Tanuki. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. It just seems to me like he's more than willing to just completely abandon rational thought if it benefits his side. And when it comes to the left, it couldn't possibly be any rational reason someone wouldn't agree with the conservative worldview. So clearly, they're just making shit up.
And here's the issue, right? I can engage with conservatives and actually take their concept seriously. I think some of the things that you said have been insightful and interesting and should be engaged with, and I've disagreed.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, NotSoErudite. I have to disagree with your characterization of his comments throughout this entire video.
With some things. The problem is that what you're doing instead is, I think I even heard you before saying, I don't even talk to anybody on the left anymore. Plugging your ears and not engaging with opposition that actually has substantive ideas, especially if such a large population amount finds some of these ideas valuable, is just it's just intellectual naivety and baby behavior.
It's because we gotta grab more chat.
I can engage with you.
What the fuck are you doing? I think she's trying to come across as the adult in the room, which I think could be an effective tactic here.
In the way that you should engage with me and what I'm actually saying. Answer my question. Is Hobbes and Locke silly because they were engaging in a pluralistic question of what is the tension between these two irreducible values that they had?
The reason I reached that conclusion is because I've spent hundreds of hours or thousands of hours talking to leftists, and I've read thousands of pages in the history of the left.
But you don't know me.
And I can't.
I have read books, and those books told me the left is making up everything. I've read the books they've written, and they say in them, we made it up as a joke. I am very intelligent.
I've seen your argument so far, and I came to the conclusion...
Strawman half of my arguments.
And I came to the conclusion that the left is not rationally consistent, and they're not morally consistent.
I've been watching your argument throughout this entire show, and I've come up with a devastating conclusion. You're the silly Billy.
And so...
Agreed.
But
You're not going to
the
reach...
right is anti-war, but they love Trump. They're Christian values, but they have a sex pest in there.
Because
like,
the right
sure, I can do this to the right too. That's my point. Is that it's a straw man? Sure, I believe you. I believe you that you have talked to a bunch of really dumb.
But the right is a composition, a coalition of disaffected liberals, libertarians, and conservatives.
The left is a coalition of progressive and liberals. The left is a
because the left is not consistent. Moderates who are rational will
neither is the right, because the right has to have a big tent.
No, you're talking about specific conservatives. I am saying there is when you refer to the right, you're talking about a coalition in modern times, which includes disaffected liberals, moderates, and libertarians.
True.
They left the left because the left was morally and logically inconsistent. I'll give you an example.
They left the left for tons of reasons.
Favorite
Actually,
example,
probably the number one reason why they left the left wasn't just logic and consistency. It was abhorrent.
This is not... The majority of conservatives didn't leave the left. I'm sorry. This is not indicative of the actual dynamic in the party. What is happening here?
Left behavior and censorship, right? The way that the left treated people.
I would argue a lot of weird beliefs, like what is a woman?
It's a performance. I've already answered this question before.
This is exactly the point.
No, this is the word game.
We know what a woman is.
What's a chair? What's a chair?
A chair is an object with 4 legs used for a human being to sit on.
Is a stool.
Oh man. Behold a man. We just need some Diogenes in here.
With 3 legs, not a chair?
It is a chair indeed.
Oh, okay. But it didn't match your definition.
Well, because a stool is a subset of an object for which you can sit on.
We're doing the categorical argument.
No, you're doing a performance that no one believes is real.
Hold on. I'm the only one just willing to engage in the actual philosophy of the question here, right? Rather than just doing some silly conservative
No, I'm willing. I just don't want to interrupt.
No, the point is...
Ian's always willing, right?
Human beings use words to convey ideas. Sometimes we have a mismatch in the definition of words between cultures. Everybody understands what is meant when someone says, what is a woman?
That's why I say a performance. If you said to me, what do you mean when you say a performance? I say, by and large, when we say a woman, we mostly mean a person that has tits, that looks like a woman, that typically dresses like a woman and acts like a woman, right? According to our society. Yes, it is.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Yes, because you didn't check my genitalia. You didn't check my genitalia.
Left definition.
You looked at my breasts. You look at the way that I'm femme presenting, that I have long hair and that I talk femininely. And I've talked about tampons and whatever else I've talked about. Thank you.
Oh God, his tongue movement in that edited clip. Why would you show that on screen? Why would you do that to us? Why would you do that? That was like some anime villain shit. That was so gross. She's dog walking him at the same time. It's true, but oh God, these guys all suck. They do. This is like the Avengers assemble of shitty guys.
That I talk femininely, and I've talked about tampons and whatever else I've talked about. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You might be a dude, but come on.
I agree. This is the issue with categories.
No one uses the word to mean performance, and you know it, and you are lying to say otherwise.
She is 100 not. She's mostly right to a degree. I could quibble with it, but when. I think when you are talking to guys like this, you need to make it dumb. You need to make it dumb. I think she's talking over all of their heads, right? I think she needed to go fucking dumb, which is why I pull out my Thomas the Tank Engine, question. Is Thomas the Tank Engine a boy because Thomas the Tank Engine has a trained penis? And it's why I bring it down to the level of children's media, because children understand Thomas the Tank Engine is a boy train. They're not. It's not because Thomas the Tank Engine has a dick. It's why I simplify it down to that level, because someone like Tim Pool will always try and engage with it in the dumbest possible way. If you already pre-dumb it down, he's got nowhere to run.
Not because
you are.
I'm not, because the gender movement just absolutely said, actually, let's separate woman from female. A female is a biological.
The only people who would make
woman.
the argument that the word woman means performance are progressive, hoity-toity individuals who pretend like they're smarter than other people.
This is the way language has always worked, right? Yes, it absolutely is. And language and definitions have absolutely shifted in utilization and what we mean them to use all the time. This is why depression can be a
who gets to choose? No individual gets to choose. It's just aggregate use by society.
Element of weirdos
and depression
can't define a
can
word and
also
everyone
be a
else can.
mood.
The moderates leave
I agree.
because you are logically inconsistent.
Well, it does something that's really interesting, which is that it creates basically a very simple thing. It causes a major question. It makes somebody look silly if they don't have an immediately satisfying answer. But what it also is doing is it's employing a categorical error and utilizing that to say, see how simple this is? And I would agree, yeah, 99% of the time that this is true.
5, we get it.
Sure, but the issue is that, again, we have these fringe instances where it doesn't fall into it, which is why we utilize other language to talk about things like gender.
That 2 + 2 = 5. 2 + 2 = 5.
No, I would say I disagree.
But
I disagree.
The mainstream left did, and they also could not define woman, despite the fact that everyone on the planet can. And then moderates were like, these people are nuts.
The core assumption of the left is the core assumption of the left is
they're so bad at even articulating their own points.
Dear God, I just seen this and I had to share.
What is this, Nathan? Thank you for the $5 dono.
The George Washington AI that he talks to every day. Do you know about that?
No.
Let me speak to Americans.
Donald Trump, the other day, he claimed that he talked to a former president about Iran. Reporters reached out to all 4 living former presidents. They're like, did he talk to you? And they're like, I don't talk to that ass.
Yeah.
He was either talking to Andrew Jackson's portrait, or he called up Glenn Beck to have a little chat with the George Washington AI that he talks to every day.
Oh my God, I hate that.
Glenn Beck built an AI that is George Washington as a
We covered this earlier this year, or late last year, I guess.
Podcaster. I want you to take a famous slaver, George Washington, with his fake stolen teeth.
Yeah.
Put him in a tight medium V-neck, where he's like a Manoverse, and they gave him like an old guy haircut. They can't even do young George.
Put some effort into it.
It's Glenn Beck, the George Washington AI that he talked.
Incredible stuff.
Social constructionism, that you can use social categories to create reality, and that the people in power through using social categories can fundamentally alter reality. My core assumptions of reality, if you want to look at Aristotle or Plato, Aristotle said that material things exist, and that material things are reflections of higher things, but you should assess the material things first.
Wait a minute, someone just sighed into the mic, and I don't think it was Rudyard.
Plato thought that the world we live in is a reflection of higher divine forms. Western civilization has used these 2 different theories based on context to assess for different layers of reality. And so the West has alternated between these 2 core theories, and these were the acceptable ones for how to structure reality.
We got to grab.
Yeah, I would argue that perhaps, in the thousands of years since then, we've also developed other ways of structuring reality.
What's money?
We got to grab.
What's money?
Money is typically a universal trade medium that represents debt for exchange between individuals for something of value.
Can we shift and change what money actually means, and have we?
What do you mean?
Well, in the past, for example, we utilized like loan sticks, and then we shifted to gold, for example.
Inflation.
And money has always just
Inflation
been
is not the answer to a
universal
categorical
intermediary of
conversation.
value exchange.
Sorry?
And money has always been the intermediary for value exchange.
Sure, but the way that we've observed and viewed money, the way that we've engaged with money, modern monetary theory
the fact that technology
blows
exists
apart.
does not change the fact that a woman is an adult human female.
Well, the issue is that when technology exists, we discover that a lot of fundamental axioms that we held about the world are more complex and fractal than we realized.
I'm just gonna say this again. You do recognize that like 95% of people on the planet disagree with what you're saying.
Absolutely.
No, actually.
Absolutely, but the issue is, hold on, at a quantum level, for example, 99% of the population would disagree if I say, if I'm not looking at the moon, if nobody observes it, does it exist? Everyone would say, yeah.
Also, just historically, trans people have existed in other societies around the world, and worth noting here, the most populous country on Earth, India, has a legally recognized third gender, which I think kind of puts a damper on Tim Pool's ideas here, in particular.
Of course it exists, but at a quantum level, No, it doesn't.
That's
not
not
really.
true.
Yes, it is true.
Object permanent.
I think she got a little bit too far afield here. She's 100% right, but not in a way that is going to effectively reach Tim Pool's audience.
Look at the,
by a
look
baby
at the
at
fight.
1 year.
This is like the major quantum conversation that happened between Einstein and what's the
You
guy who ended up being
fundamentally
right?
misunderstand the double slit experiment. Can we read more super chats?
This is
now?
not about the double slit experiment at all. I don't
It's
even know
about
why you're
particle
bringing
wave
it up.
duality. They both
Heisenberg's
exist.
uncertainty
Thank you.
principle.
Yes, it is about particle wave duality.
Yes. Okay.
We'll change the definition of the term currency
Schrodinger's cat and all that
to
stuff. We get it.
electricity.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Timothy Robinson says, "Always good to see you, Rudyard. Rudyard hissed 102's Age of the Last Men was insightful. Could I impose on you for a book suggestion of Cold War history?"
The best Cold War history is John Lewis Gaddis's one. He's I'm trying to think of any other ones. Dan Carlin's got a great podcast too.
Yeah,
Right on.
listen to that.
Cody Allen says, "What's your favorite Death Cab song, Tim?" Tremendous question. I like the earlier albums. President of What is one of my favorites.
I really don't give a shit about his favorite Death Cab albums.
Someday you will die. That song's
God.
For Kamala. I'm not even gonna lie, we voted for Kamala.
Only when liberals show up, we change the format of the show.
Would
They
you have
think it's
voted for
right wing.
Kamala?
Huh?
Would you have voted for Kamala?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Man, I didn't like it because they selected
Actually,
her.
not even probably. Absolutely, unequivocally,
The
unquestionably.
problem was they didn't have a primary, and it was like imperial selection. That's like I don't want to vote for imperial
Sure,
selection.
sure, but it's better than somebody who tried to overthrow the.
I gotta read.
steal
I
the
gotta read
government.
this.
So, I don't know.
I prefer the
I
process.
hate
I
Mark
prefer the Constitution.
Efferberg says, "Drug test your guests, Tim." Okay. Mythos says, "Kami Mami. Just to let you know, corporations are considered individuals under American law. If you let another country screw over our business interests, you are letting them screw over the majority."
So that's a.
Man, the average Tim Pool viewer is dumb as a box of rocks, aren't they? That was actually an insane thing to say. Well, actually, under U.S. law, corporations are people. So, actually, when you let a foreign nation take assets from one of our American companies, you're allowing a foreign nation to basically steal from an American citizen. Huh. So you must go to war with the taxpayer dollar in order to protect the bottom line of those corporations. Quid pro quo.
Good thing, actually. The law did it, so that's a good thing.
I just thought it was funny that he called you Kami Mami.
Yeah, all of them are going to call me communist. I'm not a communist. In fact, I spend a large portion of my content pushing back against communists.
Pims the Great says, "I live in rural Virginia. If a pregnant cow, a heifer, crosses onto my land, neither the cow or calf become mine, and I could be killed if I try to say they are. End birthright citizenship."
I want to take the cow.
Mythos says, "Jesus is the third temple. His return is the fulfillment of the prophecies. He said before his death, 'Tear this temple down and I will rebuild it in 3 days.' He came back to life in 3 days." Interesting.
Is it? Is it though?
All right, let's see what we got going over here on this YouTube. We got a bunch of big super chats here on this.
Thank you,
YouTube.
guys.
Big ones.
Big, very
it
big.
in.
Very
Some
big.
say too big, but it's okay.
The biggest, the best.
Tim Pool has a very good Trump impression. I have to hand it to him.
Ones.
Big, very big.
Very
Some
big.
say too big, but it's okay.
The biggest, the best.
Madcap Vlog says, "I got a question for Rudyard. Have you looked into astrology and the 84-year Uranus cycle? The last
Oh God.
Neptune was in Aries. The last Neptune was in Aries was the Civil War. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the American Revolution. Is it real?"
So, I have not studied astrology. I have not put significant effort into it. I heard there were studies by the CIA studying it that thought that, I heard the CIA did research that there are correlations in political events and astrology, but I haven't looked deeply into that.
We were talking about Newton and how he was
In case anyone is curious, astrology is not real. It's just coincidental alignment and generalizations. It's not a real thing, guys.
into alchemy.
So,
Is that
Newton was into alchemy, and these things were all part of the same coherent pre-modern worldview, but I have not sunk a lot of time into astrology.
I feel like the planets, if it is a magnetic universe, which evidence is pointing at, that they're like they're like lenses, radiation lenses, so that the radiation passes through planetary bodies, and it can super accelerate and leave imprints on your body when it comes out of the mom's EMF frequency body. You're exposed to the radiation, and it imprints something on you. Might have something to do with where their stars and planets are.
People generally.
That was fucking crazy. Oh my god. Oh god. The stars imprint their magnetics on you when you are exposed to their radiation, man. Oh god. This is so stupid.
One of the most fascinating things is to look at constellations in 3D. They look very different from different angles and perspectives.
I'm not gonna make that joke. It's too stupid. Sake Tanuki for the 5 tier 1 subs. My brain is being a silly little Billy tonight. Yo, Hobbs and Shaw might... No, Hobbs and Locke. Hobbs and Shaw is very different. Hobbs and Locke might be silly little Billies, but so is my brain tonight. And Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Let's go.
Believes that the planets informed stuff over history. What I would best guess is it's a correlation thing.
Also, he does look like he has something in his hair. It's gross. And I have been thinking it the entire time.
That the planets operate under certain underlying correlations we're not aware of, and that these correlations operate across the universe. Because the
planets operate on correlations that we're unaware of. Okay, so by some mechanism we're not aware of, there's something affecting planets, and that effect is a constant throughout the universe. So just another law of physics that we might not currently be aware of. That even if you were to grant that, you aren't explaining how that would have any kind of effect on a human being born under a certain set of stars.
The suicide rate is correlated with the yo-yo purchasing rate, and no one thinks that buying yo-yos causes suicide.
I do now.
Have you ever seen the website Spurious Correlations?
Yeah, I have.
It's great, right?
Spurious Correlations.
I love this site's been around forever. It's so good. Here we go. Google searches, let's see, the number of movies Dwayne Johnson appeared in correlates with Google searches for zombies. Popularity of the first name Caroline inversely correlates with Newmont's stock price.
Interesting.
Google searches for zombies correlates with the number of real estate agents in North Dakota. Interesting. The distance between Neptune and Mercury correlates with petroleum consumption in Azerbaijan.
Whoa,
that proves
that's
it.
Something.
And it's from 92 to 2017 too.
Right.
All these different timelines, interesting. I wonder why they can't hold to a consistent timeline for their claims.
Look at this. The popularity of the press F to pay respects meme correlates with Boeing's stock price.
Naturally.
I wonder what happened before 2006.
Probably the same thing.
Or before 2011, or before 2004, 1999. Interesting.
Obviously, exactly what you think
when you
it
just take a little snapshot of them.
Yeah, I love that. See, this is interesting. The number of breweries in the U.S. correlates with Amazon stock price. That is not a spurious correlation. That is not at all a spurious correlation.
Because they bought Whole Foods and they put breweries in the Whole Foods.
Amazon stocks themselves are sentient and they buy beer.
No, because Amazon's growth correlates.
I'm sorry, they put breweries in the Whole Foods? That, to my knowledge, they aren't brewing shit in Whole Foods. What are you talking about, man?
It's directly with the shuttering of box stores and local businesses, which creates open, vacant buildings by which people try to fill them with a service that Amazon does not provide. So your local butcher gets shut down, your local packaging store gets shut down, whatever Amazon.com can replace, there are now empty buildings in your city center, and what can't Amazon make? A brewery to hang out, play games, and drink. So this actually makes sense.
Interesting. They do have sell beer, like in the Whole Foods in Venice, California on Rose and 7th. We would go hang out at the bar in the Whole Foods.
Let's grab this one from the Apostle. James says, I'm a combat veteran, 22 years in the USMC infantry, 6 combat deployments. I can tell that Kyla has never...
No, it correlates, so it must be it must be caused. What if it's caused in this case?
Experienced real adversity, let alone seconds to assess.
Amazon replaces butchers. Look, if you know nothing about food, then yeah. If you know anything about food, though, no.
Potential life and death danger.
Okay, just to front load
That's
this
true
from the
though,
hop.
right?
No, I was serially sexually abused from 0 to 3.
I'm
I
sorry.
worked for, it's fine, it's nobody's fault. One of the worst things that I think that we do on all of these types of political conversations is we engage in thought termination, right? We use cliches that will make our audiences happy, like being like, what is a woman? It's like, okay, I can just scream, Trump's a pedophile, and my audiences will be happy too. I think one of the worst things that we also do is we assume a lot about each other, right? You've assumed, for example, that there's no substance that you can engage with me on, which is unfortunate because I haven't assumed that about you, despite the fact that like I haven't been overly impressed by a number of the things that you've said.
You've never been in a life and death situation, right?
Yes, I have. I've had children chase me with.
No one's ever tried to kill you before, right?
Axes. I worked for high-risk youth. I spent most of my career in jails working with like both young sex offenders and their victims.
But they're getting chased by dudes with axes.
I'm not a combat veteran, and I would never ever begin to take that away from those people or steal that valor. But people,
have you ever been shot at?
People pretending. No, I haven't, but I'm Canadian. We don't have guns. That's crazy, right? We have the next best thing, which is children with axes. Close, actually. Very close. And I have shotguns.
Someone said after our hockey team beat the Canadians, they have to give each person in America 40 acres and a moose. I agree.
Yep.
You do not want a moose. Tim, you don't want a moose. It would kill you. You'd like walk up and pet it and show your entire ass in the process.
But you get only the Northern Territory, so nobody cares.
In Rutgers' defense, he did ask you what your philosophy, when you guys were going at it, he asked you what your philosophy was, but it kind of got ignored.
Sure. The reason why I'm saying that he's not engaging with me is he just keeps insisting you're morally inconsistent. And it's like, I'm a pluralist. So being pluralistic, it doesn't mean that I can't be inconsistent, but you can just ask me, how do you draw the through line of your foreign policy? And I'll give it to you. But instead, you assume things about my foreign policy.
I think the point you need to understand is that, like, Prince.
I'm going to say this. So the reason I say this is that I've spent a very significant amount of time studying the philosophy of the left. And the left uses various rhetorical games, and when I hear them, I just throw them out. Because the you've used many. So when I hear the rhetorical games, I hear the mental filtering process they're used for.
But what is a woman isn't a rhetorical game? What are we talking about here?
I'm done. So I'm not done.
I'm not done, young lady. I have more to say to you. Now, I'm here to talk about your rhetorical games. How dare you note my rhetorical games? And by games, I mean supreme mental tactics. It's like watching the embodiment of ChatGPT.
So,
okay, I'll ask you afterwards.
When you look at how the left operates, they have a series of mental games they use, and they have a series of filtering mechanisms.
Why don't we start off the uncensored show?
Oh, I see, Rudyard. You'll let a man interrupt you, but not a woman. I see.
With this, so just keep that thought, because we're going to jump into the uncensored portion.
Also, Kami Mommy based. I'm taking it.
Rumble.com, Kami Mommy. Rumble.com/TimCastIRL in about 30 seconds, and then we'll add swear words to the arguments. You can follow me on X and Instagram at TimCast. Rudyard, do you want to shout anything out?
You can watch my shows. I'm just here, man.
Just floating through the universe, man.
So I should start now?
No. Now we're going to shout out and
swearing
we're going to
yet.
switch over. So, Kylo, what's up?
Hey, NotSoErudite, if you actually want to engage in substance, that's kind of the thing that I do. I don't care what you
Phil,
think.
give me a look.
I care how you think.
No.
Yes, it's not about what, it's about how. We are bridging the gap. Literally, the future is reliant on people continuing to communicate in high-stress situations like this, so keep it going.
Ian's a dogged subscriber. You can't trust anything he says about
All
me, okay?
I want is to preserve righteousness throughout, but we got to define all those terms. I'm at Ian Crossland. Follow me there. Carter Banks.
Man, this has been a really great discussion. Thank you both for coming out, and I'm really excited for the after show. You can follow me at Carter Banks everywhere. Phil.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. You can check out my Patreon. That is patreon.com/Phil That Remains. The band is All That Remains. We're going on tour this spring. We're going to be out with Born of Osiris and Dead Eyes. We start April 29th in Albany. You can check out You can get tickets at allthatremainsonline.com. You can check out the band's music at Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm just watching this because I don't know who like half these guys are.
YouTube, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all over at rumble.com/TimcastIRL in about 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out.
It's done. We did it. We emerged alive. Certainly not unscathed, but alive. God, guys, I sustained so much damage. Oh my God. I love you guys. Thank you all for being here. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also consider dropping some subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. Leave a comment longer than 8 words, and also organize with your local Dems, organize with your local DSA. If you need help, join our Discord. And also, last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. And there is a sale going on March 31st through April 1st. So check that out. And yeah, ImogeneOlivia.com, link down in the description. See you all maybe tomorrow, we'll see. But let's keep on going. I'll see you all later.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.